Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the House of Representatives want him out.
Baka naman gusto na niya mag-resign dahil dito sa mga findings.
It is not the Public Works Department that approved it. He approved it.
But cabinet members vouch for his integrity.
Secretary Diokno's actions have all been legitimate.
Senators continue to scrutinize the 2019 national budget over alleged multi-billion peso insertions.
If there are no items, then it follows that this is a lump sum appropriation.
Estimated that 200,000 to 400,000 individuals could be pushed into poverty following the contraction of the budget.
And did he really use his power as budget chief to influence infrastructure projects? Budget Secretary Ben Diokno joins us live. And later, from the world to the universe. Netizens still can't get over Catriona Gray's Miss Universe victory. That's for today's In Focus.
This program is brought to you by Bank of Commerce, an affiliate of San Miguel Corporation.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. The House of Representatives maintains its stand that the budget chief should quit his post. This comes after allegations of questionable multi-billion peso insertions and favoring a contractor connected to him in some infrastructure projects. Malacanang, on the other hand, says they are behind him and assures that he still has the full trust and confidence of the president. Also, the impact of a reenacted budget. Could this lead to more poor Filipinos next year? Let's go straight to the source of the story, Budget Secretary Ben Diokno. Secretary, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Pinky.
You're very welcome, sir. A lot to talk about. Let me start with this, I don't know, do you call it a standoff, a quarrel between you and some now in support of some cabinet secretaries against some members of the House of Representatives? What do you call this, the situation right now?
To me, this is normal budgetary process. We prepare the budget on the part of the executive. We submit the budget to Congress. Congress, as you know, is a bicameral body. It has been approved in the House. With much delay, they transmitted the same to the Senate, and the budget right now is pending in the Senate. So it requires the approval of both houses. Oftentimes, there will be disagreeing provisions, so you create a third chamber called the bicameral committee. That's where it is right now.
Understandably. When you say much delay, you said that just now, that there was much delay in the House of Representatives. I can imagine already Congressman Andaya saying, please do not blame us for this delay because it was you, the Secretary Diokno, who we have been asking over and over again about this 50 billion peso. They call it insertion. I'm sure you call it an allotment, sir. Actually, we had him on the show, sir. Sinabi niya, they kept trying to reach out to you to make you explain this insertion or allotment. At ang sabi niya ho, the telephone you dial is not in service. Ganun daw. Ibig sabihin, NR daw kayo, no comment daw kayo.
No, the procedure is the President submits a budget. It's called President's budget. It's not Secretary Villar's budget. It's not Briones' budget. It's the President's budget. After submitting it to them, that's it. They can do what they want to do with the budget. They can mangle it. They can approve it in toto. We have nothing to do with the process. That's a separate branch of government.
But I want you to answer that allegation of Congressman Andaya that they tried to get you to comment on this 50 billion peso adjustment or insertion, and you were never available.
No. We made it very clear. In fact, it's not 51, it's 75 billion.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Kasi nung in-interview namin siya, sir, nandun pa tayo sa 50 billion.
But it's really 75 billion. Kasi we have parameters to meet. That's determined by what is called the Development Budget Coordination Committee, which I chair, nariyan si Secretary, DOF Secretary Dominguez, NEDA Director General. It's a group, BSP Governor, and then the Office of President. No? We decided that we are going to ramp up infrastructure spending from historically 2.6% of GDP for 50 years. We are going to ramp it up from 5 to 7%. Okay,
So, ibig sabihin, what you're saying is, dun sa GDP, you wanted a 5% allotment
Correct,
of
correct.
that to go to the infrastructure projects.
Because we've not been spending for infra. That's why we have the poorest infrastructure in this part of the world.
Kaya, hence, sir, the 75 billion.
So,
Is
so
that correct?
after the review by DBM, it went to me, and I, as the budget architect, I said, kulang pa yan. Kulang pa yan. So we got it from the same, the total budget request of Public Works was 652 billion, 652. At that time, when we initial passed, 480 billion ang ano nila. So we still need 75.5 billion. Hindi pa nga namin na fill up yung...
652, the original proposal of DPWH, correct,
No,
sir?
so we actually approved 556,
Right.
which is 4.9, part of the 4.9% of GDP.
Okay, in essence, sir, you're saying DPWH was asking for 600 plus billion.
Correct.
You gave 480, and government allotted 480. You realized kulang pa to, dinagdagan yun ng 75 billion, hence naging 556 billion.
That's
Okay.
not insertion. That's
Exactly.
an adjustment within the process, within the president's
But
budget.
that seems to be the focus, sir. They
Yeah,
keep calling it a 75 billion insertion.
That's a misnomer. That's a mistake. It's not an insertion. We made the adjustments. Ganon din nangyari noong 2017, no? Because under the Constitution, education should get the highest priority. So, nung tiningnan ko yung education budget, it's still lacking. So, I added more money for school buildings.
But this seems to be the root of the problem, sir.
No,
Isn't
they-
it?
no, they-
Didn't it start with this, or at least what
No,
it appeared?
They're trying to divert the attention from the pork barrel that Senator Ping noticed in the submission of the House to the Senate. Okay, the role of the House is to prepare what is called GAB, General Appropriations Bill. Doon nakita ni Ping, that's where he noticed the discrepancy between the President's budget and the GAB. And so they're trying to divert the attention.
So they're trying to muddle the issue, is
Muddle
what
the
you're saying.
issue.
In fact, when you look and when you hear editorials, even on radio, sinasabi nila, bakit parang nawawala yung saysay ng pinag-usapan natin originally that there's supposed to be pork in the budget, as Senator Ping alleged?
There's no pork in the budget.
Is there no pork?
No, that's the role of Congress. The House prepares the GAB. They can do what they want to do with it. That's our position all along. They don't have to call us. We are submitting you something.
They can do anything with it.
They can do anything with it.
Did they do something to it to the point that there is pork, sir?
Apparently, there are some adjustments, some amendments. That's the role, to amend or to concur completely.
Frankly, sir, is it pork?
It's not pork. The amendment is not pork.
Okay, because Congressman Lito Atienza asked you that point blank during the question
I
hour.
do not consider that as an insertion and not pork.
Okay.
That's their legitimate role. In fact, but we have our own role. After it's submitted to us, we compare them line by line. No, the president's budget versus what emerged from Congress, line by line.
And then what happens after that if you're unhappy with it line by line?
We cross it out. The
So,
president
pwede pa.
has what is called line item veto
Veto power, yeah.
which is not even enjoyed by the U.S. president. So he can veto specific items and sign the bill.
Yeah, but probably that's going to be coming from the secretaries telling the president, sir, medyo hindi ata maganda itong linyang to.
That's what we do.
Recommend.
We-
Okay.
Statement of difference. But sometimes they have come up with an amendment which is better than ours. We let it go.
All right, so let's leave that for a bit because there are too many things that came out,
All
sir. Sabi niyo kasi, nag-submit kayo ng budget sa Congress and then they are going to do the General Appropriations Bill. And then you said some of the funds were diverted.
Not what diverted in that
Nothing.
sense. Nothing.
Okay, was there anything that the congressman did that raised eyebrows, sir, for you?
Quite frankly, I have not seen what is in the GAB. That's now in the Senate.
Okay.
That's where Ping noticed some differences.
And you have no idea yet what
I
is
have no idea.
possibly there that could be
No,
questionable.
we don't look at it because it has not emerged from, in fact, the third chamber, right? I'm talking about third chamber.
The BICAM.
The BICAM.
Yeah.
Okay? Lots of things happen in the BICAM. Okay? So why waste my time looking at what's
Hintayin mo na yung final, yung
I
sa
look
BICAM.
for the final.
Understandable, sir. So here comes another story.
Which is?
Number one, it's supposed to be because there is pork. Number two, it's because of this. It's the road board, the abolition of the road board. That seems to be the problem right now. Just to give a premise on this, sir, the Senate wanted it abolished. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The executive department wanted it abolished. The House wanted it abolished. However, at some point, the House recalled wanting to abolish this.
They call it rescind.
Rescind. From the BICAM or from third and final reading, sir?
They have already approved final and third and final reading. They want to rescind it. So that you're accurate. We had a meeting. It's a bicameral, or rather, it's an executive legislative meeting. There are Senate leaders there. There are House leaders. Suarez was there. The president made a decision. We want this road board abolished. Why? Because, the road board consists of unelected officials. Kasama ko dun. I'm included. Ako, si Secretary Dominguez, Secretary Togade, Villar, and 2 other people. They were unelected, and we decide over a big sum of money. That's to me, that's improper. That we're like acting like mini Congress. So my proposal is abolish this, because after all, it's so involved in corruption. In fact, the COA finding says 90.7 billion has been misappropriated. Di ba?
Yeah.
So the president knows this. So he said, I want it abolished, the board.
Okay, I want to go to that COA report. Before I forget this question, sir, when you said Congressman Danilo Suarez was there, who was this? During the time of Speaker Alvarez, or was the time during Speaker Gloria Macapagal?
Alvarez.
Noon pa.
Early on, right?
Okay.
And in response to that, the decision by our meeting, the Senate abolished it.
Yeah.
The House abolished it.
Yeah, during the time of Speaker Alvarez.
Correct.
Okay.
And then there was the Senate version appears to be different from the House version. Now they sense that the new leadership
Under Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo was going to...
was wavering.
Yeah.
So what the Senate did was to adopt the
House version in toto.
So there will be no need for a conference committee.
So ginawa nila, inunahan na nila bago i-recall
Correct.
itong...
And that was approved by and we communicated with the House. We're just waiting for what is called enrolled copy.
Oh,
of
what,
the
sorry?
bill. Enrolled copy of the bill.
I see.
Because there was no disagreeing provision, di ba?
Kasi nga, they adopted the House resolution, the House version
The
rather.
House version.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing, sir. Former Speaker Alvarez is saying, kaya ho daw kayo nag-aaway-away dahil galit sila sa inyo dahil nga dito sa road users tax. It was an Inquirer report yesterday, I believe, I read it, and said that ang punot dulo nito is the road
Correct. There's
users
an
tax.
11 billion request pending on my desk, and I have not signed it because the policy direction is we abolish first. So we're finding out what's the status of this road
So,
abolition.
si 11 billion, sir, na hinihingi from the road
Ready
users
for
tax,
release. Ready for release.
hindi nyo po binibigay.
Hindi ko binibigay.
Kanino ho itong 11 billion?
That's part of the, I think, 46 billion na proceeds from the road users tax.
But sir, sino yung mga humihingi? Sino yung malaking lump sum dito sa tinatago nyo? Hindi nyo muna nire-release na road?
There are no names there, right? But I assume this came from various requests.
But sir, they came from all congressmen.
Probably all or some of them. Okay.
Can senators ask for to use?
I don't think so.
So, sir, let's clear this up. Ang congressman lang ho ang pwedeng humingi dito sa road
No,
users tax.
the road board, coming from various sources, I don't know from whom, is supposed to assemble all these requests. Okay, and they come to me. It has to be approved by all the
But
secretaries.
who can request?
Anybody.
Congressmen. Yes.
But it has to go through DPWH because they have to make an assessment.
I understand, sir, but
Yeah.
I'm still questioning that. Who can request?
Well, if you
Money from the
if you
road
go
users
by
tax.
historically, it's mostly congressmen. Okay,
Pero pwede rin ng senador.
pwede rin, but I don't know kung merong senador dun.
All right, we'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Coming up, hundreds of thousands of Filipinos could become poor with the so-called reenacted budget. Budget Secretary Ben Diokno will still be with us after the break. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Budget Chief Ben Diokno. Sir, before we leave the Road Users Act, so we all, pag nagpaparehistro, nagbabayad tayo ng what is called the MVUC or the Motor Vehicle Users Charge.
Correct.
Is this a good form of tax?
Yeah, it's a good tax because it's dedicated for maintenance of roads. And the tax depends on the how heavy the car is. So
Yeah.
yung mga trucks pay higher, light cars pay less.
Because they will damage more the
Correct.
road.
More damaging.
This is used for asphalt overlay, yung mga cat eyes.
Real maintenance. You know, a road, once you construct a road, there should be a budget for maintenance every 5 years.
Kasi nasisira.
Nasisira talaga.
Wear and tear, no?
So, but you cannot pay that for sweepers, for example,
Yeah.
Road sweepers. That's not maintenance.
But here's the question, sir. It looks like what is being said that it's a source of pork. Why? Again, former Speaker Alvarez is saying that road board officials conspire with congressmen for favored contractors. So, pag napupunta sa distrito nila, may favored contractor, tapos nakakakuha daw sila ng 30 to 40%.
Possible, you know, because the way it's used. For example, for road sweepers, you can have overpriced walis, uniforms, overpriced, and then you can have padded payroll. That's possible. But take his word for it, not from me.
But could it be considered pork?
Let's not say pork. It's public funds, but there's some corruption going on. That's not say
Medyo
pork.
allergic ka sa pork, sir.
Medyo.
So there is really a point where it could be abused and misused.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay,
That's why they're really after my head, because this is election season. They need money, and then again, I'm going to get it.
Because ayaw nyo ngang i-release.
Because there's an instruction from the
Yeah.
president.
All
You
right.
want it abolished first.
So, you know, you have yourself, you have the president, you have the Senate wanting to abolish this, and then, so you're standing your ground here.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
But, question hour, sir, tinawag nga ho kayo. Again, I remember Congressman Andaya saying, ayaw niyo ho daw kasi sumagot. Dito na ho lumabas ito. 2.8 billion project in Sorsogon and Kasiguran, Aurora, where your daughter's in-laws, who would be your in-laws, tama ho ba, as well, are the local officials there. You did not know about this. You said that during the question hour. I saw that, sir, but Congressman Suarez told us you are obviously lying. Let's listen.
Na yung sinabi niya, he doesn't know, he's lying. He knows that. He's lying so that, number one, mapapaboran yung kanyang dalawang kandidato na manalo. Pangalawa, kikita. Malaking kita.
Please respond to that, Secretary.
Number one, my daughter is not a contractor. Okay, she is a research fellow at the Philippine Institute for Development Studies. She's teaches at the UP College of Business Administration, UP School of College of Business Administration. Okay, so yung sinasabi niya kontratista, I don't know the name of the contractor.
C.T. Leoncio.
I don't know. I don't know him from Adam. And then the mayor is not an in-law of my daughter. My daughter's son, my daughter is married to a sikat, Jojo Sikat. Magkaiba nga yung apelyido eh.
Actually,
so, hindi talaga, I'm not related
actually,
to...
doon ako nalito, sir, kasi iba yung family name.
Correct.
Okay, so ganito, sir. How is she related to the vice governor and the mayor?
Well,
Okay. Linawin niyo po.
Yeah, my daughter is married to a sikat. Okay? Now, namatay na yung father niya and the mother remarried to that
I
politician.
see. Okay.
So it's not related to...
Sir, but they're still her in-laws.
Yes, but then, alam mo, kung didiretsuin mo yung ano, sabi niya, parang imposible naman na nagmi-meeting sila, hindi sila nag-uusap.
Nagsa-Sunday lunch kayo, sir, or dinner,
Sabi
at
ko,
hindi niyo
alam mo,
pinag-uusapan ito.
I'm not a politician. That's taboo in our gathering. We don't talk politics, we don't talk projects. I talk about kumusta ang education ng mga apo ko, mga ganun. Talk about basketball or volleyball, whatever. Hindi kami talaga nag-uusap.
So you never...
So I'm different from him. Siguro sila, mga politika, they talk about projects. Hindi kami nag-uusap nun.
Are you saying, sir, that it's almost dinedemand niyo pa yun na huwag niyong pag-usapan to dahil nasa
alam nila
gobyerno
yun.
ka?
Since Cory's time, 32 years ago, hindi talaga namin dinidiscussion. Pag ginawa mo yan, I'll look at you and get out of my sight.
Tabu nga.
Tabu nga yun.
So okay.
Oo.
But if...
So, ibang-iba yung values ko sa values nila. Okay?
Does that anger you, sir, when nung nilabas yung issue? But it's an issue, sir. Would you agree that you needed to address this
Yeah.
issue, sir, because they're still the in-laws of your daughter.
Alam mo, ano yun talaga, ambush talaga yun eh. Because question hour, you're
It was
supposed...
not part of the questions that they submitted.
I have 88 pages of PowerPoint presentation. Hindi sila nakikinig. And they do not even allow me to answer their questions. They will have extended questions. They don't allow me to answer. Anong naman klase yun, di ba? So, yun yun, inambush talaga ako because of that. No?
You were saying, sir, you said something during the break. I don't know if you're willing to say it on air. Na, how do you describe that, the way yung inilabas itong issue na to?
Well, in fact, I was asked by Malacanang, gusto mo ba talagang pumunta? Sabi ko, yes. Because I thought honorable men. Because I've known many people since Cory's time. In fact, there are a few good men in Congress, especially yung mga matatanda. So, sorry to speak. They're telling me in private na they support me.
Yeah. But you did say that it was a little personal, no? Sabi niyo kanina, sir, during the break na, okay ba sabihin niyo ulit?
Sure na.
Below?
Below the belt. Below the belt. Kasi di ba, they're honorable men. They're supposed to give me...
Accord you respect, sir?
Correct.
Okay. But here's one argument that he raised, Congressman Suarez. Sabi niya, sir, function nila yun eh. Oversight function nila yun eh. Kailangan nila scrutinize yung budget.
You can do your function in a decent way, hindi ba?
It was not decent.
It was not decent.
Let me ask you this, sir. Why was it not decent? Did they not have a right to ask you about this 2.8 billion peso project?
Well, walang ganun na. Mr. Andaya tends to overstate the case. And for example, it's talking of 100 million accounts. There's billion account. There's no such thing. No?
Okay.
Yung road board, that's not 60 billion. That's 45 billion.
yeah.
Diba? And then the projects, all the projects supposedly in that district does not add up to half.
So ganito na lang. Let it come from you. Did you check on this? Is it 2.8 billion project in Sorsogon and Casiguran, Aurora, sir?
No. The report to me is about 100 million only. 100 billion.
Oh, so 500 million.
Sinabi nila half a billion, di ba? Ako 100 million lang eh. The two projects, no? And then, alam mo, Pinky, I have nothing to do with the choice of the contractors. I'm very much removed. I just prepared a budget. It is the line departments who implements the projects. They choose the contract, and it's done through competitive bidding. That's the law. You cannot allocate the projects by whoever,
In fact, you kept saying wala kang kinalaman sa ginagawa na ng line department. I heard you during...
Correct.
Sir, I need to clarify this. How much went to Sorsogon and Casiguran, Aurora? They say 2.8 billion. How much are you saying, sir? So it's clear.
Around 100 billion, two projects na nakita ko.
100
Million, rather. 100 million.
100 million pesos?
Yeah.
Instead of 2.8 billion pesos, sir?
Yes.
That's such a big discrepancy.
I know. In fact, he's saying 10 billion nga, di ba? That
Yeah.
1.10 billion eh. That's an exaggeration, okay?
Why didn't you say it during the question hour?
Because I was
that
not
it's
allowed to say it.
2.8 billion, sir.
I wasn't, and I don't know
You didn't know that
the
time?
numbers because, in fact, they gave me only 3 days to prepare for 18 questions. And lots of information needs. Kaya I asked for a postponement nga. Sabi ko, I need more time. Hindi naman ako pinagbigyan. Diba?
Sir, we need to go. Last question. If they ask you again to show up, possibly on January 3 for the resumption, will you show up?
No, because that's the advice of people from the palace. We want to know exactly the rules first. You know, under GMA, he issued an executive order.
Yeah. Kailan sir, di ba?
No, they are not. So we want to, if I'm going to get the same treatment as before, that's war. Okay?
That's war.
Yeah.
Sir, last, isa na lang pala. They're still calling for your resignation out of delicadeza.
I've served 3 presidents. I serve at the pleasure of the president. That speaks volume of my integrity. Di ba? I did not apply for these jobs, by the way. Okay?
All right, so we gotta go. Thank you to Budget Secretary Ben Diokno. Sir, maraming salamat po sa inyo. This is the SARS on CNN Philippines, still to come. The Miss Universe fever is still on. Netizens share their favorite moments. That's for today's In Focus. Sir, please stay.